gigantic aliens running around Miami terrorizing everybody. This is such an interesting story. So I got a lot of questions asked me to, cover it. What's my opinion on it? So let's go. First thing I was asked is, do I think it's a psyop? No, I don't. The reason for that is because it doesn't have the hallmarks. Like a psyop is a psychological operation, usually done by like the CIA and their friends. They have some sort of a narrative that they want to push so they can duck some sort of an orchestrated activity, and then they leak it out into the media and that kind of stuff to get it out there, to get it planted into the collective unconscious so that we believe whatever story they want us to believe. This has been suppressed. So whatever happened has been suppressed. And something happened. I mean, it's obvious looking at the videos. This is a crazy police presence, right? Like I've never really seen before for something so ordinary. Some kids fighting. I mean, come on, it's Miami. So that was crazy. And then other things that lead me to think that maybe something significant happened. Flights being grounded, power being out for 30,000 people, people saying they tried to take cell phone pictures and their cell phones weren't working. And then most importantly, the description of the beings. Now this is where it gets super interesting. Now, I do a lot of work in interdimensional type stuff. And one thing that's known is that when you do traverse dimensions and you go into altered states of consciousness and stuff like that, that are smooth the reality that we're so accustomed to here, this cause and effect reality where, you can kind of predict how things are going to behave and stuff. You roll a ball and you kind of know the trajectory and the speed and all that kind of stuff. In these other dimensions, that breaks down. And what you get is this like jerky motion, like stop action type movement, like claymation. Now, the people describing these beings, right, they don't know any of this. They're just regular people, right? So if they were making it up, if they were making up a zombie attack, they would describe zombies like we're used to seeing in movies. They were making up an alien invasion. They would describe aliens like we're used to seeing. That's not how they describe them. The descriptions are kind of crazy. So this is how they describe the beings. Super tall, with legs, but they didn't walk. They glided. They didn't necessarily even have feet, that they changed shape and form, and that they seemed to kind of click in and out, like they would be there and then they wouldn't be there, almost like a static on a TV or something like that, like a hologram that was like kind of glitching out. This is what would happen if there was some sort of an interdimensional bleed over event, meaning like there's other dimensions stacked on top of ours. There's all sorts of stuff outside of the reality that we can perceive. We can only see like a tiny sliver of the visible light spectrum. We can only hear a tiny sliver of sounds. We have very limited senses. Out there in the cosmic zoo, there's all sorts of layers and dimensions full of life and energies and intelligences. There's different times that run perpendicular to us and stacked on top of us, different timelines. There's all sorts of stuff out there that we don't see and perceive because we don't need to survive. That's what our central nervous system does. It filters all that out so that we're not freaking out with all the sounds and sights and stuff, right? But it doesn't mean it's not there. So if there was some sort of a bleed over, meaning like their dimension momentarily bled over into ours, you would see what these people describe. They describe the beings as looking confused almost, like scared, like not like worried, they weren't aggressive or anything. There wasn't an invasion. No one should be scared or worried about this. But the beings seemed like they were like, shouldn't be there. They're like, what the fuck is this? How did we get here? That's what would happen if, for some reason, their dimension, their reality, bled into ours, and they found themselves momentarily in our dimension. I don't think they came here to attack or do anything nefarious. The description of them was almost as if they were lost. Now, the way people describe these beings, the way they looked and the way they behaved, is not how people would describe an alien invasion. It's not how they would describe Project Bluebeam. It's not how they would describe, there would be no reason to do a psyop like this, because this actually follows the sort of rules of what you'd expect with interdimensionals. This isn't something I think that our government's trying to plant into our subconscious. This is something that I think happens. I think that there are other dimensions full of life. And sometimes, for different reasons, whether on purpose or by accident, we bleed over into theirs and they bleed over into ours. That is what, if I had to guess, it's still very possible that nothing happened at all there, that this was just hoopla. Maybe somebody called in like a terrorist attack or bomb threat or something, and the police overreacted and they didn't want to come out and publicly say that because they look kind of silly with the amount of firepower they brought down there to a stick fight. But there's enough other stuff that people have said that kind of made my ears perk up and say, normal, regular people that aren't immersed in this world like me and wouldn't know these things, these little factoids, wouldn't say this. They wouldn't describe zombies or aliens or whatever behaving this way. They wouldn't say these things that are very go right in line with like what would happen with interdimensionals mistakenly or accidentally kind of bleeding over into our dimension. I think this is what might have happened. Maybe, who knows? But this would explain it. So it's not an alien invasion. It's not blue beam. It's not a psyop. It's nothing to be scared of or worried about or anything. I think this is part of nature. This stuff just happens sometimes, and sometimes you see these like bleed over events, and it freaks you out, and because you don't know what to make of it, and it seemed like it freaked them out too. And it's kind of nature. It's kind of like if you're walking around a corner and like a bear's there. The bear's gonna be like, whoa. Where the fuck did you come from? You're gonna be like, whoa, where the fuck, you know what I mean? You're both gonna be kind of scared, right? And you're probably both gonna go your own directions, be like, whoa, that was close. Kind of seems like that's what happened in Miami, if anything happened at all. That's my opinion. Let me know. What are your thoughts? Have a beautiful day. Peace.